Welcome to Elite Rugby SandC podcast, the best podcast talking all things rugby and strength and conditioning. At Elite Rugby SandC, we provide athletes with strength and conditioning programs that provides you with everything you need to become a beast and take your game to the next level. No matter what stage of the year or season, Elite Rugby SandC has a program for you. You can try before you buy, so try our 7-day $7 trial to get a taste of what we offer here at Elite Rugby SandC. Also, sign up to our newsletter and receive free bonus content each and every single week. So take your game to the next level, become a beast, and join Elite Rugby SandC today. Today on the podcast, Wallaroos and Waratahs Backrower Piper Duck joins me for a chat. Piper made her debut for the Waratahs back in 2020 and made her international debut for the Wallaroos this year against Fiji. Piper is one of the best up-and-coming backrowers in Australia and has a massive future ahead of her, so keep an eye out for her. On today's episode, we discuss the 2021 Women's Rugby World Cup, and Piper provides a great insight into the experience of playing at a World Cup. We talk about strength and conditioning training. Piper provides great advice on how to manage your body week in and week out to play at the elite level. Piper talks about the upcoming Super W season for the Waratahs. And Piper also talks about what it takes to be a back rower in rugby. This was a fantastic episode, and I really appreciate Piper taking time out to speak with me today. Enjoy! So g'day Piper, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thanks for popping on. It's great to have you on board. So how was Aqua Rugby yesterday?
Oh, it was so fun. I genuinely believe it is going to be the next big thing. Like, I was there with a few girls, and the way you score tries, like jumping off the end, is just such an exciting and fun game. And I think it's really going to take off.
Awesome. So if you haven't seen Aqua Rugby before, definitely go on Instagram and just go watch the videos, the reels, and see the pictures, and you'll just see how awesome it is. And just like Piper said, it's probably going to be the world's next thing. And who knows, it might turn into Olympic sport. You know, they're sort of taking any sports these days into the Olympics.
Yeah, no, it's pretty wild. But yeah, no, we'll see.
That's awesome. So how's the body feeling post World Cup?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm kind of just having some downtime at the moment. Obviously training here and there, doing some gym now, but I'm just like giving myself some downtime before we start pre-season again with the Tars soon.
Awesome. It has been a big year of rugby with the Super W, and then playing the build-up games, playing Japan, and then playing the World Cup. So what are you trying to do during this downtime? Is just get away from rugby? Is it focus on you, or is it catch up with family and friends? Like what is it?
It's a bit of everything. Kind of coming back from the World Cup, like, it was such a surreal and amazing experience. Like, it's one of those things I kind of went, I don't know if I'm ever going to get the opportunity to do. And I think I'm also kind of processing, wow, I just went to a World Cup, like, at the moment as well. Definitely seeing my family, because this year, as you said, has been so hectic and I just haven't really had time for it. So I'm going back to Christmas and stuff to see them. And I'm kind of just working, finishing uni at the moment. So I'm trying to finish my final exams without failing, hopefully. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm focusing on at the moment. And yeah, just training here and there, but just giving my body some time to just relax.
Awesome. So how was the World Cup, and how was the overall experience, and what was the level of competition like as well?
Oh, it was crazy. It was so good. Like, getting to play the best women in the country, in the world. Like, I've got my best mates by my side. And that was probably the biggest thing for me. Like, the girls in the team, I genuinely consider them family. Like, when you spend as much time as we did together over the camps of the year, you become a family. And being away from them for this time has actually been really strange, not seeing them for as long as I have. It's only been a week and a half, and I'm like, oh, I miss them already. Now I think I'd be sick of them, but no. But the level of competition was so high. And like, as I said, this is my first World Cup. So it was a big eye-opening experience for me, and just to see the level of footy and where I hope to be one day in my own playing ability as well. So yeah, it was very inspiring watching the girls around me and watching the other teams play.
I think it was cool to see the team build their confidence and just the level of gameplay over the tournament as well. Like that first half against the Black Ferns was awesome. Like, it was near perfect, and then unfortunately fell off in the second half. And then against Scotland, it took the team sort of nearly the whole game to get into it. And then against Wales, it was a perfect performance. So I think that was really cool to see the growth and the sort of, competition that we have in this team. And the future, like it's a bright future for the team as well. I think there's a lot of good young talent in there that we just got to keep developing. And then I don't think the team's that far off from England or the Black Ferns as well. Like there's not much difference, to be honest, in my opinion. I think we're right up there, and it's not going to take too much for us to get back there and really compete as well.
You know, we've definitely been working hard. It just showed, like, being together for that time, the difference it makes, like just the combinations and having that access to coaching the whole time around. And it made a huge difference. And as you said, like, we are an extremely young side, like we're building, and that's so exciting. Like, that is so exciting. Like, I'm 21 years old, but then the likes of me, and then we've got the likes of Illy, who is 37 and is an amazing leader. And the way she led the group as well throughout the tournament, and just those older heads as well, like, we're in a good spot. And it's just really exciting to see what the next one or two World Cups is going to hold for us. So we're hoping to make our country proud soon, and just going to keep working hard.
100%. So leading into the next World Cup in 2025 in England, what areas sort of need to be improved from a player's point of view, in terms of, doesn't have to be yourself, but as a team, but also we got to remember, what can Rugby Australia do to better help that as well?
From a player's point of view, as we just touched on before, like, we are so young. And I think the biggest thing for us is more time we can get together, and the more time we can, as individuals and also as a like rugby nation as well, keep growing. And from a Rugby Australia and just a nation point of view, like, the more support and we get around us women, the more we're going to feed off that. Like, the reason we play is for our country, and having that support is huge. And the more time that's put into our program and put into us, the better we're going to perform. Because at the end of the day, we want to be professional athletes, and we hold ourselves as professional athletes. And it's just so exciting what the future holds for us as women playing rugby.
100%. So we need to keep developing the women's game, and I think it's both with the men and women. Give back to the grassroots, because we just need to keep the talent in rugby and not let it go off to soccer or AFL or NRL. You know, we need to try and keep it here and develop it, and just make sure that there's a future as well. Like, you don't want to have women playing rugby, it's sort of a part-time thing. If it can be a full-time thing for a small period of time, unfortunately we can't play rugby for our whole lives, but you know, for that small period of time, they can make something out of it and just focus on rugby. Then who knows what the future holds, and that next two World Cups are going to be very exciting.
Oh yeah, it's so exciting, especially 2029. I think it is, like, on home soil. Like, that is going to be huge for the game, both men and women. And even from when I first started playing in 2016 to now, the growth is amazing. Like, there wasn't a pathway, now there is. And for me, like, I feel really grateful. I've been playing since I was 15. There's women who started playing when they're my age now, 21, 22, if not 25. So it has shown how much the game has grown. And yes, it has further to go, but the progression is amazing. And now there's girls who are playing as old as 6 years old. So by the time that talent comes through, and especially in 7 years' time from 2029 or 8 years' time, whenever that is, the talent is just going to have increased again. The level of footy is just going to be so much better.
Exciting times ahead.
Yeah.
So I imagine you had a bit of spare time during trainings and games at the World Cup. Was there certain TV shows that you like to watch, or what, like a secret hobby? Like, what did you do during the downtime that you had during the World Cup?
Honestly, I have been trying not to fail uni. No, I've been doing part-time uni. So any downtime I had, I was kind of trying to find the want to do that. So I was trying to study. But I'm honestly on a Game of Thrones marathon at the moment.
Okay.
So I think I'm up to season 6 at the moment. So I'm getting there, because I've told myself I'm not allowed to watch House of Dragons till I finish Game of Thrones. So I'm trying really hard to do that too.
Okay, so you're a late bloomer to the Game of Thrones world. It's a great world, and for people like myself who have been keeping up to date with all of it, and then House of Dragons. House of Dragons was unreal. I thought it was really cool. Just the actors, how the scenes were set up. I think it's really cool. And if you were one of those people who hated the last season, then this is sort of making up for it with House of Dragons, I would say.
Well, yeah, I'll let you know if I like last season or not.
Yeah. I'm one of those people who enjoyed it. It was a bit rushed, but oh well, it still got to the end, and it was good. It
hit the point.
So what are you studying at uni?
I'm currently doing finance and HR at the moment, so I'm changing to a Bachelor of Business Admin.
Awesome. Yeah. I think there's a big side of business to sport. So if that's what you want to do, then definitely do it. But Yeah, it's something different. I like that business,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
something that I'm learning as well. Doing podcasting, doing this with my cousin. Like
mm.
there's a business side to it that I really don't know too much about.
Yeah, it took me a while to decide what I wanted to do, but like as you said, with footy and stuff, you meet some amazing people, and we're having a business degree. I feel like that benefited me in what I kind of want to do in that area. Once I don't know, finishing rugby, or even if I can do it during rugby, I just feel like it's a useful degree because I can kind of work in any area of business that I feel inspired to improve.
Hmm,
So yeah.
100%. So taking a step back, growing up as a young girl in
Mm.
Tumut, as you said, what sports did you play, and how did you end up playing rugby?
I just wanted to play sport in general. I just didn't really like school that much when I was younger, so it's a way of getting out of school. I'm sure that was quite a few people. But I actually grew up swimming when I was younger, so I probably swam from I was like 7 till I was 12. So I did that at quite a high level. But during that time, I kind of just played league, being completely honest. So I played league with the boys when I was 9 because I actually didn't know rugby union existed. Because in my town, league, just being in the country where I am, league's just the sport you play. There's not a lot of union. It's definitely changed now after the Olympics in 2016. Back then, it just wasn't a thing. So I was playing league tag on the side once I got too old to play league with the boys. And then I kind of moved into basketball. So I went from swimming to basketball. But I wanted to be, if you had asked me when I was 15 before I moved to Sydney, I was going to play basketball. I was going to America. I was going to play basketball. That was it. There was no discussion. And then in 2016, when the women went to the Olympics, Shani Williams is actually from my area. So she's from Batlow, which is literally just around the corner from where I am. And I remember mum and dad and the whole community being like very excited about that. And I was like, oh, what even is this sport? I'd never even seen, like, I didn't know what it was. And I literally said to mum, I turned to her in the lounge room being like, you told me I couldn't play tackle footy. You told me women couldn't play. You lied to me. Like,
Mm.
because mum wasn't very keen on me playing tackle footy at that time. And yeah, I remember watching the Olympics and being like, I want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do. At this time, I was still playing basketball at the time. And then Tumut created a women's 7-side. So Michelle Perry and Stumpy Carter, they had a lot to do with it at that time. And they kind of contacted my mum and me through like playing league tag and said, oh, come on, let her play. Again, I was playing basketball. So I kind of talked my mum into being like, can I just do it for fitness? It'll be fun. Like, so I talked to mum and dad doing it for fitness with the women's side for a couple of months. Then they came to the finals and they said, come on, you got to let her play. Like, she's been training all this time, The issue was they had to sign me off because I was too young to play in the women's side. So I actually got signed off. Everything was sweet. And I think I ended up playing 2 games for the Bullets before I got picked up by the Brumbies in 2016. I was 15 for the under-17s side to go to Perth. And I played in that, but I had no aspirations at the time to play more union after that. I thought that was just a really good opportunity. Like, I'm really glad I did that. And that was kind of going to be it. I was going to follow basketball. And then I moved to Sydney, went to Barker College in 2017. And I was there for basketball predominantly. And then they created their first ever 7-side in 2017. And I was talking to the coaches and stuff. And I kind of went, you know what? Let's just have some fun. I'll play basketball, but again, rugby can just be some fun on the side. And then I hit for year 11, started year 12. And then I went, you know what? Actually, let's have a crack. And I kind of dropped basketball, and I had a coach named Manny, little angry Argentinian man who I love, and he taught me how to play rugby, basically, like properly taught me and kind of got me committed to wanting to play rugby. And then, in 2019, when I was in year 12, I played A-on-7s with Sydney Uni, and that's probably when it took off for me. Like, and I really went, yeah, let's do this. And then I got asked to play in the Wallaroos A side again in 2019, like during my HSC, which was wild. And I went to Fiji before COVID hit in 2020. And and that was it. And then we've just been grinding since, playing some Waratahs here and there, a bit of 7s as well. And here we are.
It's an awesome story. And so if you weren't playing rugby, you would be playing basketball, you think, over in the States?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. What position do you like to play in basketball?
When I was younger, I was really tall, so I was center because I was tall, but then I just stopped growing, like completely stopped growing. So I probably would have been a shooting guard or something like that.
Okay.
But that was a while ago now. But
it's always interesting to ask rugby players what sport would they be doing if they weren't playing rugby. And just even from Arabella McKenzie, she was saying cricket. So, and she backs herself as a really good cricketer as well. So
she backs herself for a lot of things that can't do with. I love her.
Has anyone challenged you to a b-ball match in the Waratahs at all?
Oh, not the Waratahs. Michaela Leonard from Brumbies.
Okay.
Really good at basketball, and Grace Kemp as well. So I used to play with Kempy when I was when we were playing, we used to play together from we were 12 until we finished school. We played together because we're in the same area, like Riverina area. So yeah, I've known Kempy, oh God, for a while. So it was funny when we both started playing union. Both started playing union together. It was pretty wild.
That's awesome. And seeing on your Instagram, your old school named an award after you. Was that correct?
Yeah, they actually did. I couldn't believe it when I got asked, if I'm honest. I got an email from like the head of the rugby organisation at Barker, and he said, look, we're looking to do this new award and we'd really like to name like an award after you. And initially I kind of went, didn't really know how to respond to it, because to me that's such an honour. Like your school wanting, I don't know, like I was like, do I deserve that? Like I think that was the biggest thing. And I kind of went, look, they want to do this for me, and obviously it means something, like there's a reason they're asking me to do it. And that's probably the conclusion I had to come to. And then I kind of thought of a few things, went and presented it to a woman that they chose. Her name was Holly Cameron, and for me that was pretty special because I've known Holly quite a long time with her family. And when I told I'd be presenting it to her, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And just, I don't know, it's just the cool things that sport can do, and rugby as well. Like you do something really well for the game and you get rewarded as well. So it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, it's a very special game.
So how has strength and conditioning helped you to perform at the elite level, and what have you sort of learned over your career as well?
It's definitely helped me a lot. The biggest thing for me is probably been more important to me as I've gotten older. I probably started my SandC journey when I was in year 12 at Barker, because they have quite a good program there. But I kind of at that point was young and just didn't really understand the need for it at that point. Like I did it and stuff, but I just didn't have the same want or like love for it. Whereas where I am now, especially being through different programs, I've learned a lot more, and now I love the gym. Like I love it because there are results that I see from a good gym program. Like my speed is increasing, like I'm gaining weight, but I'm getting faster. And that's really exciting because that means my power, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting more powerful. And I'm a very power-driven athlete. It's just how I play. And then, but for me, it's also like a mental thing too. Like if I'm having a shit day, I'm gonna go to the gym. Like it just helps. Like it helps me both mentally and physically. So my SandC journey has definitely been long, but where I am now is way better than where I was.
100%. I can resonate really well with putting on a bit of size and then getting a bit more powerful as well, but also the opposite of losing size in terms of body weight and then being more powerful as well. So it's just something that you sort of don't think of. I would say growing up, you really don't know what SandC is until you start doing a consistent program and a program that works, and then you see the changes out there on the field. Like, wow, I'm actually a bit fitter, and I can hit more rucks, and I can hit harder, and I can last the whole game instead of blowing out after the first 30 minutes. So it's just cool to see, and I think it's really cool to when athletes buy into the program as well and see the benefits.
And I think that was a thing, like as a female as well in the school I was at and not having much education on it prior, I was always scared of like, if I gym, I'm going to get really big and then I'm not going to be able to move. And then which is, it isn't true. Like, it's just not true, but it's just that pre-thought I already had. And then, now after where I am, like, I feel so much stronger and happier with myself when I'm in the gym and I'm looking and feeling strong.
And there's nothing wrong with having a bit of, I don't like to use the word toned, but having a bit of muscle. Like there's nothing wrong with showing some muscle. It's pretty cool to see when the guys get it, when the girls get it as well. It's like you're that's you showing off your hard work. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I love it. If I can see a muscle, I'm like, okay, I worked hard for that. And like some of my mates, I look at them, like Jenny Fredericks is one of them, and she is shredded. Like, and I look at her, I'm like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be.
She was doing front squats yesterday as well. I saw her on Instagram.
Yeah.
She
is solid. She's a unit.
So every year the level of rugby goes up and the competition gets tougher to play against. And I'm sort of glad I'm not a player anymore because I can just watch her on the sidelines like, geez, I don't want to be tackling him or her. Like it's crazy. So what advice do you have for people on managing their bodies to keep performing week in and week out? I
think the biggest thing for me is recovery. Because I think sometimes you get told to recover and you're like, oh, really? Do I have to recover? Because I know I still do that sometimes. I shouldn't, but sometimes I do. But the thing is, the quicker you can recover, the better your body is going to respond to the training you're giving it. And the more you're going to be able to train. And in an environment where the level of rugby is going up, the level of expertise, the level of resources, everything for women is going up, if you aren't recovering properly, you're not going to be getting the right, I don't know what's the word, attributes, like the right lift in your game. So if you can recover, you're going to become a better athlete at the end of the day.
100%. And I think that when it does get tough, when you like, I don't want to do this, I just want to go sit down and relax. That's still recovering, but also do the other things as well. Like you just got to remember it's for the team as well.
Yeah.
We're playing a team sport. What am I doing to help better the team? And if that's doing some foam rolling or going down to the pool to do a couple laps or sauna or something like that, go do it for the team. Go do it with your teammates as well to hold you accountable. But just remember, we play a team sport at the end of the day. So what are you doing to better the team?
100%. That's probably one of the biggest things we say when we're away. Like grab a mate, like take a mate, and everything that you do. Because you take a mate, you're going to want to do it more. It's fun. You can have a laugh while you go and do whatever you need to do. And that's probably the biggest thing we're talking about while we're away. Like just take a mate. Even if it's you need to run an extra 10 meters, take a mate. Or you need to do recovery, take a mate. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep each other accountable. But like you said, you can also have some conversations there. You can reflect on the game, reflect on life, and just talk shit or just
literally.
It's so much better when you got some a teammate there with you.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome. Hi everyone. We just wanted to take a break from this episode. We hope you are enjoying this episode so far, and also all the content we have produced. We appreciate all the support from our listeners and followers so far. If you haven't already, sign up to Elite Rugby SandC newsletter today. We provide you free, exclusive content each and every single week to our subscribers. Link in the bio. Remember to like, subscribe, and share Elite Rugby SandC on social media to all your friends and families. So thanks again for your support, and now back to the episode. That's awesome. So what are your favorite sort of modalities to use to recover?
I actually have created a new love for saunas. I never liked saunas. I never did growing up and whatnot. And then I was with Laurie Kramer at last camp and she convinced me, just come and do it. Get over it. You'll get over it. Again, take a mate. You'll get over it. Come do it. And I've actually created a new love for saunas at the moment. But yeah, ice bath is my go-to. Like it's just easy. Like I can fill the bathtub up or wherever I am. Like if there's a bin somewhere, fill it up with some ice and water, jump in an ice bath. That's probably my biggest one. But I try to do stretching and rolling whenever I can. Obviously before I gym or after I gym. But yeah, ice baths, and I'm trying to get around saunas.
Okay. It's like an actual proper sauna or more like a steam room?
More like a sauna. I can't, for some reason, steam room, I just can't do it. I think it's just the steam and I feel like I can't breathe. I freak out.
I'm sort of the opposite. I like having both options, and with the steam room, it really clears up my sinuses. I'm like, I feel like I can really breathe, and then in the sauna, I can just get a good sweat on,
Yeah, that's fair.
Awesome. But no, there are definitely some good modalities, and one thing I would say as well, it's not really recovery, but if you were to do stretching, 5-10 minutes before bed and a bit of rolling, I guarantee you'll have a better night's sleep as well. Like turn the lights down a bit lower, and if you did that, focus on your breath, you can have some of the best sleep that you've ever had, I reckon. So that's my hot tip when it comes to recovery as well.
Okay, well, I'll give it a crack.
Just 5-10 minutes, bit of rolling, bit of stretching. With if you've got a dimmer switch, it really helps, and guaranteed to have a good night's sleep.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll let you know how I go.
Yeah. So how do you become a successful back rower in rugby, and what are the sort of the key attributes and skills needed to play this position? Or positions,
Yeah, positions, yeah. Back row can just be played so differently by so many different people. Like personally, when I'm thinking about back row, I'm thinking, okay, I need to work hard here. Like I want to be everywhere. Like that's what I'm thinking. So therefore I need to be fit. And then after that is like, I love my pilfer game. I like hitting rucks. I like blasting. I like hitting rucks. So I'm thinking about it from the foot. I'm looking for an opportunity where I'm like, okay, well, can I pilfer here, or can I just be a pest? Can I just get in the way and be really, really annoying for the other team in some way to slow down their ruck to help my teammates? It's like my biggest thing. But then you've got some of the likes of Grace Hamilton who can carry a ball and put a shot on. And you've got someone like Emily Chancellor, who is probably the hardest worker you'll ever meet, and will literally just be, you can guarantee she is going to be wherever you need her to be. So there's so many different ways to play back row, but the biggest thing is, for me, you're the energy bringer of the team. Like you need to get on there, you need to bring the energy, you need to get around every single person there and just work your ass off. And
and just the evolution of the game, it's really weird because you see the different nations. You see New Zealand, they got quite big back rowers, but you look at South Africa, they're huge. And like you look to us in Australia, we have different mixtures of like a Grace Hamilton and then like you said, M Chance, and then Shannon Perry or yourself there. So it's like 3 sort of different players on there, and even just for the Wallabies as well, like they've gone from Rob to Hooper to Samu, and it's like I think that's really cool with the back row. Like we have all these different pieces of the puzzle, but they all bring different attributes and skills to the game. And I think if you are a back rower, just make sure that you're versatile as well, that you could possibly play 6, 7, and 8, and got that good pilfering. But then you also have the attributes like a Grace Hamilton who can just carry for days, you know.
Yeah.
And if you got that motor like M Chance, then that's just a massive asset to the team.
100%.
So yeah, it's such an interesting position. I remember I did play it when I was 13. Really did like playing number 8, but unfortunately I got a bit too big and they put me in the front row, a bit too slow as well. So I was just destined to be in the front row, unfortunately. So with preseason just around the corner for the Wallaroos girls who just played at the World Cup, how do you make the most of the upcoming preseason, and what are you trying to work on individually in this preseason, but also as a team for the Waratahs?
For me at the moment as an individual, I'm kind of looking back over my games at the World Cup. And I'm also like obviously waiting to hear back from the coaches. They're just giving us, as I said before, some downtime to just reflect ourselves, I suppose, and just a break from rugby. And then I'm going to assess that and kind of look at what I think my biggest work-ons for me were. At the moment, probably me is probably my body height into contact and just as a whole round, my dominance in collisions. Because coming from sevens, sometimes with my tackling, like I'll make the tackle, but I could have been probably more dominant. So that's probably my biggest work on, just taking those extra few steps into contact prior to making the hit. As a Waratahs group, I think we're a very young group coming in this into this tournament. So it's probably just trying to have a few good leaders, and like myself, like I'm still very young, but trying to get better at being a leader for those younger girls and being a voice for them. But it's really exciting because the Super W tournament's just growing. Like with the likes of Fiji joining the tournament and the level of rugby going up, bringing Fiji in has just brought in a different form of rugby. And Fiji play an exciting form of rugby. Anyone that watches Fiji, like whenever you play them, you're in for a game. And like just the support like that Fiji brings from like the community as well. Like playing Fiji is just such an exciting thing. It's like that grand final last year. Yes, we didn't get the result we wanted, but the type of footy we got to play and the crowd and the support that was there was insane.
It was a great grand final. Like that's what you want as a grand final, where we've seen this year for the AFL and the men's, it was just lopsided, and then for the NRL it was just lopsided. But this grand final, it was just a really good spectacle and really, really good competition as well.
Yeah, it was exciting, and that's what you want. Like as rugby players, like yes, it's great to win, but end of the day, like you want to compete. You play to compete. You play to verse dominant sides. And in the day, sometimes you play and you don't get the result you wanted because you weren't the best team on the day. And that's okay as well. But that means you're going to strive to get better and your group is going to strive to get better. And that means the rugby in this nation is only going to improve. So the more competition, the more games we can get that are closer and more dominant, it just benefits us as a nation.
100%. And just like I said, that the level of competition in that grand final, I think both sides had to rise above. Like Fiji were playing at a high level, but then you were pushing them, and then they're like, oh shit, we have to get up a bit higher, in that competition. So it was just awesome to see. And how do the Waratahs sort of bounce back in 2023 to be that dominant Super Rugby team again?
Well, I think the more time we get together, as I was saying before previously, like they're in preseason now, the girls, and we'll be coming back in either December or January, and just getting around each other and creating that tight-knit group, which we've always had. Like for us at the Waratahs, it's always about being together and focusing on us, and that we've always carried that through all the way through. Like even last time it was our circle, is what we talked about. And I'm not sure exactly what this tournament will be, but it's always centered around us. And if we can stay together and just be a family, like we always play better, because at the end of the day, you have to want to hit someone for your sister. Like you have to want to play for your sister. You're always going to play better if you're playing for the bloke next to you, not just for yourself. So, yeah.
Awesome. And is it a real focus at the Waratahs on focusing on what you can do as a team and individually better than focusing on what the opposition brings to the game?
Yes and no, because of course in any game of rugby, you need to focus on your competition, how they're going to play, because you need to create a game strategy which makes sense for that competition. Because you're going to play, let's say the Reds completely different to how you're going to play Fiji. So, of course, you always need to have a game plan, and our coaches at the moment have been very good throughout the years for doing that for us, which is phenomenal for us. But when it comes to actually getting on that paddock and when you have to dig deep in those minutes where no coach can help you, no one else can help you, and you have to want to do it, that's when that tight-knitness and togetherness has to come in. Because you can have a game plan, but it doesn't mean the game plan is going to work. So you all have to be on the same page. So even if you're not doing exactly the right thing, but if you're all on the same page, something's going to happen.
100%. No, that's really cool. And just touching upon the leadership aspect as well, what you just spoke about, how do you become a better leader? Is there certain, I don't know, books you're going to be reading, podcasts, or you're going to be reaching out to a couple of mentors or something like that?
For me personally, like I've had a lot of very good mentors. Like even learning when I was learning to play back row, I had Emily Chancer and Grace Hamilton help me the whole way. Like I came into the squad of a young 17, 18-year-old girl for the Waratahs, and these women have helped me and carried me through. There's never been any ill feelings or poor competition. Like they have genuinely helped me get to where I am right now. And I've witnessed leaders like that my whole way through. But there's also a bloke at the moment named David King. So he was helping us with the Wallaroos, and I don't want to talk out of line here, but I think he's come with the Waratahs. So I was talking to him the other day and I was like, look, he's an awesome mentor in the way he talks about leadership and mental well-being for an athlete is just probably the best I've experienced personally with like other people as well. So I was talking to him. I said, look, mate, something I'd like to do as I get older is learn how to be a good leader and learn how to use the attributes I already have to hopefully one day be a voice for these women. So I was talking to him, and yeah, so he's going to work with him through this season, hopefully into the future, if he'll allow it. And yeah, get tips and just learn to hone what I already have, hopefully.
No, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
So the next part of this conversation, something that I forgot to put in when I sent you the show notes, but it's the Triple H. So we're going to talk about a hardship, a hero, and a highlight of your career. So can you think of a hardship in your rugby career that sort of stands out, and how did you get through this hardship, and what did you learn as well?
The biggest one for me was actually probably this recent World Cup. It's funny though, because it's probably my hardship, but it's also probably my biggest highlight, which is pretty funny because it was Eden Park's game and I didn't get selected to play that one, which is obviously devastating because it was a sellout crowd. Like, and to me, when you play rugby, you play for those environments. Like it was a sellout crowd, it was record breaking. I want to be on that field. Like it's against the Black Ferns. I've never played Eden Park, like first World Cup, the start of a World Cup. Like, yeah, I really, really want to be on that field. And when I obviously didn't get picked for that, that was really difficult for me. And then getting, as the game came around, me and Maya Stewart, we got named as the 24th and 25th man, which again kind of added a different level of mental toughness to it, I suppose, because yes, you're not playing, but you're going to warm up with the squad and you're going to do everything as if you're playing on game day, but you're not going to step on the field, which grateful because it's more like, I know not every girl got that opportunity, of course, so extremely grateful for being named the 24th man. But yeah, that was quite mentally tough for me. Warming up and stuff, and then getting into the change room, watching the girls huddle about to run onto the field for Eden Park and take on the Black Ferns, and you're sitting there being like, I'm not going to be that on there with them. Like that was hard. But then
it sucks because you just want to be able to help the team. And
exactly.
You don't think you can help the team by sitting in the grandstands, you know?
Yeah, and it was difficult. But being named that 24th man, I kind of took on the mental space of like, I'm going to help these girls in every way I can in this warm up, and just any way I can make their life easier in the change room in this warm up, I'm going to benefit us as a squad when they get on that field. And then the highlight for me, still really hard, but the highlight for me was actually I've gone to the change room, managed to get changed a little bit, and I've run to the grandstand so I didn't miss the cultural challenge and the anthem and the girls walking out, because I really did not want to miss that. Like that's one thing I did not want to miss. And I got out there and I remember walking out into the stand and the crowd was insane. And I went, wow, I've already got goosebumps and I'm not even the one running out. They haven't even come out yet. And the girls were walking out and the stadium was going wild. And I was like, this is amazing. This is what I want. This is what I play footy for. And they get up there, they sing the anthems, and I got a bit emotional. Me and a few of the girls got a bit emotional at this point. But the biggest bit for me was the New Zealand girls started their haka. We're in our boomerang shape. And as we start moving forward and the haka starts advancing as well, the girls started advancing, an aeroplane flies over the stadium. And they had like an old aeroplane fly over it, like directly above it, and the whole thing just lit up. And it was probably the most amazing experience I've ever felt. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. Like, it was crazy. So probably my biggest hardship, but also my biggest highlight was that game.
And I love how both the Wallaroos and the Wallabies have done that boomerang shape and then walked to them. Like, I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's like we're accepting that challenge and like, come at us. You know, we're not letting you have the last sort of say before kickoff. It's like we're bringing that challenge, and I think it's just made, I don't know, the game a bit more exciting as well, from both sides. Just seeing the Wallaroos and the Wallabies just, you know, go up there and accept that challenge.
Yeah, because it's definitely a thing of respect. Like, anyone that watches the haka, there is so much respect for it. Like, what it represents, like, for that culture and that nation. Like, it's exciting. Like, when I'm on that field and I know I'm going to be facing a haka, the adrenaline you feel, but also the respect for what you're witnessing is just so high. And to be able to accept that challenge and go into that field and take that team on is just, it's a whole new level I hadn't experienced until I'd done it. And I still remember my first time facing the haka. I cried first time facing the haka because it was just such a surreal. Yeah, it was just, it's a very moving moment.
100%. So, and the last one for the Triple H, who is your hero and why is this person your hero?
Oh God, I'm gonna think of this for a second. I think mine would probably be my family. Like, not anyone individually. Like, for me, they've given up a lot for me to do what I do. Like, even moving to Barker, like, I was very lucky to receive a scholarship, but my family would give up anything for me. And I know that for a drop of a hat. Like, it wouldn't matter what it was. Like, unfortunately, they couldn't make it over to New Zealand to watch me, but they've got videos of the whole house decked out in Wallaroos gear watching me, because my parents don't even have passports. Like, so they couldn't even come to watch. I've got 3 younger siblings, and my family is probably my hero. Like, everything I do is for them. And even my younger siblings, I want to be a role model for them. And I want to show them what they can do as they get older. And like, I want them to think they can do anything. Like, and my brother who's 10 and my little sister who's 5, I want her to be like, I can go play rugby, or I don't have to, but I can do anything I want to do. And it's just creating that platform for them, because even my sister, who just obviously wouldn't know any different, that rugby has never been played by women, and that's never been on TV. Like, it's normal to her. So the other day she goes to my mum, she goes, when I'm on TV like Piper, because there's just no different to her. It's not a thing that women haven't been, which is probably the most special thing for me. The other day when she said that, I went, wow, like, no different. Like, you're going to grow up in a generation where it's not weird for women to be on TV playing sport. It's normal.
100%. So shout out to the Duck family.
Yeah, Duck family.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So who would you say is the best teammate to room with, and who was the worst teammate to room with? This can be Wallaroos or Waratahs experience, or rugby sevens, you know?
Think about this for a second. Probably the best would either be, for me personally, only because I think I just roomed with them and they were great, is Laurie Kramer or Shani Williams, aka Sunny Bill Williams. We ended up naming her over camp. But the worst would honestly be anyone that snores. I can't do it. Like, get me out of the room. I'll sleep on the couch. I can't do snoring. But yeah, no. Sunny Bill Williams or Laurie.
100%. I think that the hardest thing with snoring as well, if you can't get to sleep, like, you're just screwed. And unfortunately, I am a bit of a snorer, but I do complain about people who snore. So it's
you're the issue, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Just like, let me get to sleep first so I can snore and just not be disturbed. But if you're snoring and I can't get to sleep, we've got a problem.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. You're one of those. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, that's all good. And it sucks sometimes when that person sounds possessed as well. Some of those snoring, some people are bad.
The worst snorer I probably had was Maddie Shark. Love her, but like, she's actually a great roommate, but she just snores. Like, in every other attribute, I'm like, you're great. Like, I'm really enjoying this, but then you go to bed and you're like, nah, and you leave.
We might need to buy some sleep apnea masks for people who snore.
Honestly, I wouldn't be against it.
So, last couple of questions. So, who should be my next guest on the podcast? Is there any names that sort of come to mind?
Maybe Georgina Fredericks, only because she is so committed to the gym. Like, the way that girl works is insane. Like, she's up every morning at like 4. She's either going to the gym or she's going running before work. Like, the commitment that girl shows to her athletic ability is just unreal. Like, probably one of the best in the team. Or Emily Chance, though, or someone like that. But because obviously Emily Chance and Illy, like, they are very committed to that as well. But Georgina Fredericks just takes to a new level. Like, yeah, she's wild.
We'll be getting her on quite soon then. So where can listeners find you on social media if they want to reach out?
Probably the easiest thing to reach out on me would probably be Instagram. So it's Piper_Rose_duck because I check that regularly.
Awesome. So thanks for joining me today. It's been awesome to understand your story better, but then also learn from the World Cup as well. And I think it's very exciting times for women's rugby, and we just need to continue to develop and grow this game and just continue to support the players and coaches so that when the next World Cup or the next Super W season comes up, it's just getting better and better and better. So thank you very much for joining me today. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was exciting and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Elite Rugby SandC podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and rate Elite Rugby SandC on Spotify and YouTube, and make sure you follow us on Instagram. Sign up to become a beast via the link in the description or via Instagram page. Also, remember to sign up to our newsletter to receive free bonus content each and every single week. So don't wait, make that good decision, and join Elite Rugby SandC today and take your game to the next level. Thanks for listening.